Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we break down the latest news and current events into manageable pieces, giving you a clear understanding of what's happening in our world. I'm your host, Walter, and we're glad you're joining us today. We're starting off with a developing story that's got everyone's attention: the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel. Over the past few days, we've seen a significant increase in tensions between the two nations, with both sides engaging in military action. Israel launched a series of strikes against Iran's nuclear sites and military leadership, and Iran has responded by firing missiles at Israeli cities. Now, let's take a step back and try to understand what's happening here. The situation is complex, and there are many factors at play. We've seen reports of the U.S. moving refueling aircraft to Europe, which could provide President Trump with more military options in the region. At the same time, Russia has offered to mediate between Iran and Israel and has expressed concerns about the potential consequences of this conflict. It's essential to approach this story with a nuanced perspective, recognizing that there are multiple sides to the issue. We'll be discussing this further as we delve deeper into the story. But for now, let's just say that the situation is volatile, and it's crucial to stay informed. We've also seen reports of the U.S. bolstering its military presence in the region, with nearly 40,000 troops already stationed in the Middle East. The Pentagon has replaced B-2 bombers with B-52 bombers at a base in the Indo-Pacific, which could potentially be used to operate in the Middle East. As we navigate this complex and rapidly evolving story, we'll be bringing you updates and analysis from experts and journalists on the ground. We'll explore the historical context of the conflict, the geopolitical implications, and the potential consequences for the region and the world at large. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the middle segment of our show today, where we'll be exploring a fascinating and complex story that highlights the ever-evolving landscape of conspiracy theories and misinformation. Recently, a tragic event unfolded in Minnesota, where a shooting took place, resulting in the loss of life. As the investigation into this incident began, something striking happened. Despite the evidence suggesting the shooter's affiliation with far-right ideologies and his support for former President Donald Trump, many on the conservative side quickly jumped to label him as a leftist or a Democrat. This narrative shift is not new. It's a tactic often employed in the wake of mass shootings or politically motivated violence, where the perpetrator's true affiliations are downplayed or distorted. What's remarkable about this case is how swiftly the story changed once it became clear that the alleged shooter was, in fact, a Trump supporter who listened to far-right conspiracy theories. Instead of acknowledging the connection between extremist ideologies and violent acts, some chose to pivot towards claiming the incident was a false flag operation or a psyop conducted by a shadowy deep state. This term, often used in conspiracy circles, suggests that the event was staged or manipulated to deceive the public and advance certain political agendas. It's essential to approach such claims with skepticism and consider the evidence at hand. The alleged shooter's friend described him as a Trump supporter who enjoyed listening to InfoWars, a far-right conspiracy theory channel known for spreading misinformation about school shootings and other significant events. The reaction from some conservative influencers and even elected officials has been to sow doubt about the official narrative, questioning the identity of the shooter and implying a larger conspiracy. This behavior not only muddies the waters, but also undermines trust in institutions and the media's ability to report facts accurately. As we navigate these complex issues, it's crucial to remain vigilant against misinformation and to seek out credible sources. The spread of conspiracy theories can have real-world consequences, from inciting violence to eroding confidence in democratic processes. In conclusion, this story serves as a stark reminder of the challenges posed by misinformation and the importance of critical thinking in today's digital age. As we strive for fairness and balance, it's essential to recognize the harm caused by unfounded conspiracy theories and to support efforts that promote fact-based discourse. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We've got one final story to dive into before we wrap up today's show. As you may have heard, the world of international trade has been making headlines lately, with several countries engaging in high-stakes negotiations with the United States. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump met with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the Group of Seven summit in Canada, where they finalized a deal to reduce tariffs on certain goods. The agreement, which was initially reached last month, will see the U.S. lower its tariffs on UK cars, aluminum, and steel, while Britain will reduce its tariffs on U.S. beef and ethanol. This development is significant, as it marks the first time a country has successfully negotiated a tariff reduction with the Trump administration. The move is expected to have a positive impact on both economies, particularly in the aerospace and auto sectors. However, not all countries are having the same level of success in their trade talks with the U.S. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, for example, met with President Trump on the sidelines of the G7 summit, but it's unclear whether any progress was made on a potential trade deal. Japan is seeking to have tariffs removed from its auto industry exports, which are currently subject to a 25% levy. It's worth noting that these trade negotiations are complex and often involve multiple stakeholders with competing interests. As such, it's difficult to predict exactly how they will play out or what the ultimate consequences will be for the countries involved. One thing is certain, though: the world of international trade is constantly evolving, and countries must adapt quickly to changing circumstances in order to remain competitive. We'll continue to monitor these developments and bring you updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay informed.